This is Phoebe Green and the Locker of Destiny, written and read by me, James Dubern. Chapter 42, Out on Her Ear. Phoebe sat on the cold stone steps of Perivale. She made her single tissue last as long as she could, but it was soon saturated. The doors to Perivale hung open, and she could faintly make out the sound of the receptionist making calls. Phoebe was described as having no family and no identification. Meanwhile, her granddad and mum were inside being given a tour. Mr. Grayson drove his lawnmower up and down, making neat stripes on the perfect lawn. It being December, the grass didn't need much of a trim. He clomped up in his heavy, wet boots and sat beside her on the steps. From the pocket of his dungarees he took out a tissue. It was covered in sawdust and he put it back. "You faced the music by the looks of things," he said, "but there weren't no dancing." She nodded. Mr. Grayson looked at the car parked on the gravel. The back seats were folded flat and suitcases were piled against the windows. He shook his head. "So that's it then? She's here. You're out on your ear." Phoebe nodded again. She wiped her eyes against her blazer. "It's all right," she said. "I know what I need to do, what I should have done a long time ago." "What's that?" he asked. "I need to shut my mouth," she said. "Nobody is going to believe an 11-year-old girl with a silly story. Another adult will come down that winding lane and into Perivale, and they'll put me in the back like a suitcase, and we'll go to who knows where." "What will you tell them?" he asked. She shrugged. "Not the truth. Anything but that. I'll say I'm a girl who ran away from home or something like that." Mr. Grayson shook his head. "I'm sorry," he said. "Sorry for what you've been through here, from the girls, from the staff. It's not on." He stood up and entered the building. "Goodbye, Mr. Grayson," Phoebe called after him. Out on the steps, Phoebe began to shiver with cold. The receptionist asked her inside and explained that she was still making calls and struggling to find the right department, whatever that meant. She suggested that Phoebe joined the girls for lunch, but Phoebe couldn't face seeing her old friends. It was too painful to say goodbye over and over again. The secretary brought her a corned beef sandwich, which Phoebe ate on a chair next to the fax machine. It was like a printer, apparently, except people could send documents to print from all around the world. It sounded like a recipe for disaster to Phoebe, but was quite high-tech by Perivale standards. From inside reception, she watched Mr. Grayson pass through and out of the double doors. Through the window, she watched him yank the cord on his lawnmower and fire it into life. The receptionist drank more tea and made more calls, being passed from one person to the next. All the while, Phoebe watched life at Perivale grind on, one chaotic lesson change at a time. Katie and Mr. Green came down the steps to reception after a tour of the school led by Jessica. Phoebe desperately wanted to throw her hands around her mum. She wanted to show her the diary that Mummy hadn't even written yet, and for Katie to believe her, really believe every word of it. She wanted her granddad to tell her it was going to be all right, and that he would help her get back to 2025. But instead, she slid down off the chair and hid under a desk until they were gone. When she heard their car start, she re-emerged and watched them drive up the lane. Miss Perivale entered the office. "I have news," she said. "Come." Phoebe followed the stern governess into her office and braced herself for what was to follow. As a wise man once said to her, there would be music to face and very little dancing. "Go back to your dorm," Miss Perivale said. Phoebe replayed the sentence, but it didn't make any sense a second time either. "I don't have anything left in my room. I didn't have anything to start with, so all of those clothes are Perivale property. I just have this book and—" "You are a lucky girl," she said. "He paid your fees after all." "Grandad! I mean Mr. Green," Phoebe said. Miss Perivale looked out of the window. She caught Mr. Grayson's eye as he steered the lawnmower up toward the main building. "No. Mr. Green thought you had a sophisticated personality disorder and recommended you see a therapist," Miss Perivale said. "It took some convincing to make him send his daughter here. Although, I would like you to tell me how you knew about the African souvenir and the motorcycle." "So, who paid my fees?" she asked. Miss Perivale pointed down at Mr. Grayson. "He did," she said. "Mr. Grayson?" Phoebe asked. "Yes, you made quite the impression on him. Staff can send their children to Perivale at discounted rates, and he chose to send you." "But he's not my dad," Phoebe said. "I know," Miss Perivale said, "and you know how much I hate to bend rules." She poured herself a drink and sat in her black, creaky chair. Here's the thing, Phoebe. I've been feeding you, housing you, and teaching you for months, and nobody's paid for it. I could send you on your way and be out of pocket. Or I can accept Mr. Grayson's charity and keep you here. A new customer is better than a loss. Do you understand? She didn't understand all at once. It was like coming in from the cold and drinking a cup of hot chocolate. But the warmth and excitement grew inside her until her hair stood on end. Then it travelled down to her heart, which beat fast and proud. The joy flowed down her arms and legs, and she felt light enough to float to the ceiling. So I can stay, Phoebe said, at Perivale. Miss Perivale nodded. Phoebe stood up, grinning from ear to ear. Really, she said, can I actually? Yes, Miss Perivale said. Her thin burgundy lips made a strange shape, and Phoebe realised she was smiling. Phoebe stuck both her arms out to the side, her forearms flopping down. She moved like a robot, dancing. Whatever are you doing? Miss Perivale scolded. Get out of my office before I give you a yard of grass. Yes, Phoebe said, snapping back to her sensible self. With her back straight, she walked calmly to the door. Thank you, Miss Perivale. I won't let you down. You'd better not, Miss Perivale replied. Take that suitcase in reception with you. It belongs to the new girl. She'll be in Dorm 7 with you after Christmas. Katie, Phoebe said, beaming with joy. Yes, Katie, and Phoebe, I don't want to hear another word of your time travel nonsense ever again. I will expel you, and no talking your way out of it. Do you understand? Yes, Miss Perivale. My name is Phoebe Green, and I was born in... Phoebe looked down at her fingers and counted back. 1983. Very good, Miss Perivale said. Now be gone.